Good morning, Malaysia, and welcome to another edition of Bernama Today. I'm Jared Ratnam, and on today's show we have something very interesting which we'll be bringing on shortly. Of course, we'll be talking about Pat Gear. If you don't know what Pat Gear is, it talks about alternative vehicles. We're having one of the partners or share partners of the that company coming into the studio, and we'll be taking a look at what Pat Gear is all about. Of course, that's happening later in the show. We'll be having a guest right here with us on Bernama Today. In the meantime, let's take a look at what's happening with Today in History, and then we'll move on to News on the Go. We'll start off with a quote for today. Beautiful things happen when you distance yourself from negativity. Well, that was given to me by my producer, and that was specially for you. In the meantime, of course, with Today in History, today is the 24th of February 2015. That's if you just woken up of a coma, giving you the date. And of course, it is very early in the morning. And having said that, in history today in 1821, Mexico gains independence from Spain. Today in 1895, the Cuban War of Independence begins in 1924, and this is something a lot of people read about in Malaysia, especially Tamils or Indians within Malaysia, and they always do a lot of reading about Mahatma Gandhi. Even in the Tamil papers, there's a little something about him or a little quote about him. Mahatma Gandhi was released from jail today back in 1924. And in 1945, Egyptian Premier Ahmad Meher Pasha was killed in Parliament after reading a decree. And in 1988, Mehdi Naikanen, if you don't know who he is, he becomes the first Winter Olympics first triple gold medalist. Today in 1989, a 150-million-year-old fossil egg, an old dinosaur embryo, is found. And today in 1989, Iran's Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini offers a $1 to $3 million US dollar bounty on Salman Rushdie's death due to his novel Satanic Verses, which was released back in 1989, such a long time ago. Well, if you're celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you. You celebrate your birthday with Stuart Henry, a British disc jockey who was born today in 1942. You also celebrate your birthday with this fantastic singer, musician, songwriter. Her name is Michelle Shocked. And of course, another person who celebrates his birthday alongside you, that's if you're celebrating your birthday, is Roman Slodnov, a Russian swimmer. He was born today in 1980. So that's a little something for you as to what's happening in, or rather, our segment called Today in History. From there, let's take a look at what's happening in the news today. We'll start with this one. Apparently, bosses are to give a good pay rise, and good news for employees all around in Malaysia, or at least that's what they're saying now. Malaysia not only is ranked second to China in salary increases in Asia, they can look forward to a pay rise of between 3 and 10% or more. Well, the story also goes on to say that under the newly released annual findings of the Hayes Asia Salary Guide, 10% of employers in Malaysia intend to award more than 10% salary increases for the upcoming review to their employees. Another 33% of the employers will award between 6 and 10% in increments. The majority, however, will give a hike of between 3 and 6%, while 9% is set to offer less than a 3% rise. Only 1% of employers will not increase salaries. Well, according to last year's reviews, 3% of employers did not increase salaries of their workers, 9% gave less than 3%, 48% of employers raised between 3% and 6%, 31% of employers increased between 6 and 10%, and 9% gave more than 10% in increment. Well, each year, they say, a survey is conducted by Hayes to gather employers' views on salary policy, recruitment trends, and of course economic outlook. A total of 2,361 organizations representing 4.17 million employees from across Asia took part in the 2015 survey. Well, the salary guide also revealed that employers in Malaysia were using performance-related bonuses in addition to salary increases to reward their top performers this year. Hayes Asia Managing Director Christine Wright highlighted that there was a good chance employees had or would soon receive a competitive bonus if they and their company were performing well. So they say basically what the story is telling us is that there's going to be an increase in salaries across Southeast Asia and also Asia, and Malaysia sees a significant rise on a yearly basis. So let's just hope that we will, most of us who haven't seen the significant rise will see it this year. From there, another story on our diverse culture. You know, time and time again, we need to remind ourselves about the diversity. And apparently, this diversity now, they say, can help boost tourism. Malaysia's diverse culture will help promote tourism, and this was said by the MCA president, Dato Sri Liao Tiong Lai. Liao also said that the tourism industry in Malaysia has been seriously affected by the two plane incidents last year, and we see fewer foreign tourists, especially from China. He pointed out that China's panda diplomacy, or rather its plan, marked the 40th year of diplomatic relations between Malaysia and China. It represents the mutual friendship between both countries. He also added that these pandas have attracted many tourists to Malaysia. Have you seen the pandas? Well, if you haven't, apparently it's quite an experience. You have to make your way to Zoo Negara, of course, to view these pandas. Well, according to Dato Sri Liao, he also says 2015 will be a challenging year. This is due to the fall in global oil prices, but he expressed confidence that close collaborations between the government and private sector will succeed in winning back the hearts of Chinese tourists. He acknowledged that the tourism industry sees quite a number of visitors from China returning to Malaysia for their vacations since October last year. Liao also predicted that Malaysia could expect 2 million Chinese tourists this year, 300,000 more than 2013. Well, that's a little something for you as to what's happening with regards to the tourism sector here in Malaysia. From there, let's take a look at another story which is being published today in various dailies, and this talks about a 12-year-old boy who drowns in a hotel pool. Well, a holiday trip for a family from Johor turned tragic when their 12-year-old son drowned in a hotel swimming pool in Tanjung Bunga. Well, year 6 schoolboy, his name is Ong Jing Ji. His body was found in the middle of the pool by his father, and this happened about 10:30 a.m. yesterday. Well, the boy's mother, who declined to be named, said a son, who was the eldest of 4 siblings, went for a dip in the pool with his brother and sister, accompanied by their father apparently, and the pool was of course crowded, and no one was aware of what happened until her husband found him missing about 30 minutes later. Well, she said that the husband discovered the boy in the middle of the adult pool and jumped in to save him. Also, a foreigner tried to resuscitate him, but apparently failed, and the woman, who was in tears, spoke to reporters. This was outside the Penang Hospital mortuary when, of course, reporters spoke to her. Well, she claimed that there was no lifeguard when the incident happened. The family had planned to return to Skudai either today or tomorrow after arriving on Saturday evening. And the mother added that Jingji was a good son who was very close to his siblings. And according to the OCPD in Georgetown, Assistant Commissioner Mior Fiara, he says the hotel management told the police that an employee had warned the boy not to swim in the adult pool, but he had apparently ignored the warning. So that's a really sad story, and we hear this all the time, more so during the holidays. Last year, if I'm not mistaken, there was a case like this reported, and it also happened in a hotel pool. So the thing is, whether your kids are good swimmers or not, if they're kids, you need to be monitoring them all the time. And here's the other question. She did talk about a lifeguard not being present. Now, if you see that a pool doesn't have a lifeguard present, then it is your call to make that decision to, of course, use that pool. Not, of course, the argument, there's a flip side to that argument too. Some people say that a lifeguard should be there. If it is a public pool, there must be a lifeguard there at all times. So this is something we seriously need to take a look at. From there, another story which is being reported there is about the ISIS, and apparently they're luring young girls for jihad sex, or sex jihad, or at least that's what they're calling it now. Bukit Aman is on the alert for the Islamic State's new tactic to lure young girls from around the world, and this is to join its ranks. And Special Branch Counter-Terrorism Division, its Principal Assistant and of course Senior Assistant Commissioner, Dato Ayub Khan Maidin, he says the militant group was trying to lure young girls as young as 14 and 15 to the ranks for sex jihad, and this is among other activities. So there's sex jihad and there are other activities in the periphery. I don't quite know what these other activities are, but he also goes on to say that he stressed and said that the division was monitoring the situation very, very closely, and of course these young girls can be easily influenced by the militants via social media, especially Facebook. He also asked parents to play their role by monitoring children's activities, and SSC Ayub Khan said that although the division had managed to thwart 7 Malaysian women from going to Syria to join the militants since last year, 7 others had managed to go there, adding that most of the women were in their 20s. The youngest so far is the 14-year-old who was arrested last week. Can you believe that? A 14-year-old girl being arrested. She was trying to make her way out of the country to join ISIS. So whatever campaign they're using or whatever campaign they're putting forward on social media, apparently it's working. And you need to, once again, do a bit of homework and find out what your kids are doing at all times, especially if they have devices, they have smartphones and tablets and computers at home. You need to be monitoring them all the time, if they're below 15 at least. So this is a story on ISIS, and the girl was nabbed last week at KLIA while she was attempting to head to Cairo, purportedly to marry a student there before going to Syria. She had all this planned, and I'm sure she's done this via social media. Planned to get married. Of course, the boy was waiting for her. We don't know if there was a boy waiting for her on the other side or someone was waiting to just pick her up and take her to where this group is. But this is the narrative as of now. So we'll need to find out, and we'll need to know more, do more digging. And of course, the police are always on the lookout for information. If you do have any information, please pass it on to our friends, Malaysia's finest. In the meantime, SSC Ayub Khan said the latest arrest reflected the IS is worrying, or rather its worrying trend, and he says brainwashing is their biggest tactic, and this usually helps them enlist youngsters from around the world into joining its terror ranks or terror attacks. And Britain's Scotland Yard also has come out to say something, and they're now looking for 3 teenage girls who are believed to be traveling to Syria via Turkey to join the IS. A little something for you on the IS and their ongoing campaign to lure youngsters into that group. From there, bosses are set to give a pay rise. We didn't talk about that. I'm sorry about that. Let's move to another story, which is about a TNB substation explosion, and this happened very recently. An explosion at a Tenaga Nasional Berhad Power substation in Taman Sri Jelati, Jalan Klang Lama, saw 3 of its employees seriously injured. Now, the victims, Muhammad Rozairi Ghazali in 30s, Muhammad Zaidi Sharif 35, and Norizan Abdullah 58, were conducting maintenance work when the electrical explosion occurred at about 10:45 p.m. Well, Bukit Jalil Fire and Rescue Station Chief Jalaluddin Abdul Mubin said from initial reports by the firemen who responded at the scene, the victims each suffered an average, listen to this, of an 80% burn to their bodies and limbs. He said Fire and Rescue Department's forensics units are now investigating the cause of the accident. And the New Straits Times also went to the scene and saw pieces of cloth and clothes, including those that resemble what used to be TNB's standard luminous vests, lying on the ground at the substation's compound. Well, fire investigators and a team of TNB staff, led by an engineer, were also there. They were seen performing checks and taking pictures inside the substation. Meanwhile, at the medical center, families and friends of the victims were seen gathering in front of its emergency department's entrance, and it is learned that as of 2 a.m. This morning, doctors and medical staff at the hospital are still working to stabilize the victim's condition. Well, also they say that from conversations between several TNB officers believed to be victims' superior, or rather these victims' superiors, it is learned that at least one of the victims is undergoing an emergency surgery. So that's some news for you on our News on the Go segment. Of course, we're going to come back and try to give you more news pieces right here on Bernama Today. Of course, like I said before, we also have a guest coming in. We'll be taking a look at alternative vehicles. One name that is making its rounds right here in Malaysia is called Pet Gear or Pat Gear. We're going to be finding out more about that shortly right here on Bernama Today. Thank you very much for staying with us. We'll be back just after a short break.
Travel, not because I like to travel. I travel so I can say this. What you're looking for is inside of you, and you should be in peace.
Rawat has been traveling for 40 years, inspiring people around the world to find peace within.
I go and I talk to people, and I present them with the possibility of themselves discover the peace that lies within you.
Menyelami realiti, menjejaki masa, meninjau peristiwa, paparan kronikal kembara kehidupan, pelbagai keunikan, juga pengalaman menarik. Segalanya disorotkan selama setengah jam dalam jurnal Bernama setiap Ahad jam 9.30 malam hanya di Bernama TV.
Nongkah batasan masa, mengupas isu semasa, jadi saluran pelbagai suara, segalanya baru dan benar di Berita Bernama TV.
Ayah, nak kunci kereta. Budin dah habis cuci ni.
Rajinnya anak ayah. Nak ambil ni.
Tak apa ayah. Budin ikhlas tolong ayah ni.
Terima kasih Encik. Kalau Encik tak tolong saya, tak tahu apa saya nak buat.
Jangan macam ni, Encik. Saya ikhlas. Lagipun, kita kan sama-sama rakyat Malaysia. Kita saling membantu.
Ini rezeki perdagangan Encik. Dah pun diluluskan.
Terima kasih, Encik. Wah, cakap betul Encik buat kerja ya. Jom, Encik. Saya belanja makan.
Encik. Ni memang tugas saya. Lagipun saya dah dibayar gaji untuk semua ni. Saya tak harapkan balasan.
Menyelami realiti, menjejaki masa, meninjau peristiwa, paparan kronikal kembara kehidupan, pelbagai keunikan, juga pengalaman menarik. Segalanya disorotkan selama setengah jam dalam jurnal Bernama setiap Ahad jam 9.30 malam hanya di Bernama TV.
Ekonomi dunia, berita terkini, isu semasa, segalanya baru dan benar hanya di Berita Dunia.
Bicara isu semasa. Merangkumi segenap ruang. Semuanya dalam ruang bicara secara langsung Isnin hingga Jumaat hanya di Bernama TV.
Good morning, Malaysia, and welcome back to Bernama Today. Jared Ratnam with you on a lovely Tuesday morning. We certainly do hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday morning. As promised, we do have the creative director of Pat Gear joining us this morning. His name is Kirill Kovac, and he's here to talk about Pat Gear and what they're doing. Of course, we have a lovely contraption in front of us. We're going to talk a little bit about that. In the meantime, Kirill, welcome to the show.
Hi.
It's great to have you here. Well, creative directing for a company like this, what kind of work, or rather, what does your work encompass when it comes to creating stuff like this? Of course, the audience now don't know what they can't make out what this is. We're going to find out in a short while. But what's your work as a creative director? What kind of creative work do you do?
Well, firstly, thanks for having me.
Not a problem.
And yeah, creative director is a very vague term, I guess. But everyone watched Back to the Future and they saw Marty McFly on the hoverboards. And basically...
We're still waiting for that.
Yeah, my job is to kind of tell people, look, it's 2015, future has arrived, but we're not floating anymore.
Right.
Basically, everything's going to be electric powered. And it's our job to kind of inform the public, but also to paint a picture of what the future could be. Because there's a new product, people don't have any reference. They compare it to a motorcycle, compared to a Segway, for example, has been around for a long time. But this is a bit different, so it's something kind of intuitive.
Okay, for those of us who don't know what Segway is, those of us who work on radio know what a Segway is, but for those of us who haven't seen a Segway, most of us have seen a Segway, but we don't know it's called a Segway. Can you just explain that to us?
It's one of those boards with two wheels on the side. You might see it in KLA too.
Right.
They've bought in a couple, and it's an electric vehicle. Well, self-balancing. So you stand on it, you hold on to it, and it'll just go forward. And when you tip forward, it'll go backward, and you go backward. So it's very fun. I actually had a pleasure of riding those about 12 years ago.
Right.
So it's a military standard technology. It's still very expensive. So what we do is we have an electric bike which costs a fraction of it, and it's easier to ride. So it's just like a skateboard. And for your reference, it is an electric vehicle as well. For personal use, but it's different from the Segway in the sense that it's both affordable and it's much higher speed. So if you're traveling 40 kilometers on a Segway, you might fall head down first. That'll be a little bit dangerous.
Well, the person who came up with this, with the idea for this, can you tell us about the technology, which country it comes from, and who came up with the initial idea of this?
Yeah, it's hard to see what it actually is when it's folded. We'll unflip it in a while, but it's an electric scooter or kick bike, depending on which country you're looking at it from. So it's a lithium-ion battery there, which is manufactured in Taiwan. So it is Taiwanese technology, completely aluminum frame. So it's very sturdy design. It weighs about 15 kg, all from Taiwan. But it also sold in markets such as US and Germany, and now coming to Asia. It's actually available in Singapore as well, and we're just about to bring it in here in Malaysia. So
we're just about to bring it in Malaysia. What's the introduction of this to Malaysia? What's the response like since introducing this to Malaysia?
We have been fortunate to be part of a greater scheme, personal mobility concept launched in Malaysia, which is also called Komos. For people who haven't heard of it, is Malaysia's first electric vehicle car sharing program. And it's basically providing a last mile solution as a car rentals to provide an alternative and also a last mile solution when you're traveling by MRT or LRT, and you don't want to walk home or whatnot. You can rent a car, and then when the charging station is too far, you can actually ride the Pack Gear back to your house. So we launched it in September. That was the first time
that was launched in September.
Yes.
See, but the problem with something like this, technology like this, is great, but it takes thorough planning to roll out a plan like this, simply because you need to know strategic areas, as what do you call that, points for charging the cars, and where are these cars going to be kept, things like that. Has all that been looked into already?
Yes, definitely. That's why it's been taking so long to actually properly launch it, because it is an initiative that it takes both government, it takes personal incentive, and also the corporate bodies need to work together. So usually, bureaucracy, planning, and all that. But when you go to Europe, you'll see that this is already in effect. Electric mobility is part of the future.
Have you tried it in Europe?
Electric cars, no, not yet. I've tried it here in Malaysia only. But they have something which is car sharing and also vehicle sharing. So, for example, bicycle sharing. For those of you who went to London or Paris, you might have seen that there's bicycles available for rental. So all you do is sign up, you get a card, swipe, and it'll unlock a bicycle for about 3 hours, and you're free to take it wherever you want as long as you return it back. So they have your credentials, and they can check, and it works flawlessly. And they generate the revenue through advertising. So you advertise on the bicycles, and that's an easy way for people to get into this new system. So what we're trying to do is kind of catch up with the future. So what's happening in Europe, we try to bring it into Malaysia, but also complement, because this kind of product is still not being classified in Europe, so they don't have any laws to say if this is legal or not. So this is somewhere in between, because they're just drafting the new standards in Brussels right now as we speak. So on the roads you won't see too many of them yet, but this is definitely part of the future. So it's something which an urban commuter, you see a lot more people living in the cities, a lot more congestion. And for those of you, who are already somewhere sitting down, it probably took an hour for you to get there. So if you don't live far from your office, it's an easy way. In Europe, you'll see lots of people commuting.
Some time ago, we brought in electric bicycles. What happened to that technology now? Is it still around?
Again, it's a gray area. I think the problem with that is the governments are trying to move as fast as they can to kind of accommodate this new change. And if you go to China, everyone has an electric bicycle. First time I went to China, I thought, well, everything's going to be backwards. And I see nobody's pedaling. That's amazing, and we thought this should catch on fast because the price of an electric bicycle in China costs nothing. I mean, it's a price equivalent of a normal Indonesian make or Malaysian make bicycle. So it never really caught on because I think it's a gray area for people. They don't know whether to classify it as a motorcycle, a motorized vehicle or not, and should it be allowed on the roads or not, and is it safe? And I think safety is the biggest issue. People, when they look at something motorized, I mean, this thing you see here in front of us, it drives 37 kilometers an hour, and it might not sound much, but that's what a sprinter does when he's running really fast. So we have been driving this in KL Car Free Mornings. For those of you who don't know, there's a KL Car Free Morning every Sunday.
It's fast growing. Come join us, but don't bring your car.
Yeah, exactly. And unless it's electric. And basically, we outride, we overtake even the fastest cyclists. So it is a bit dangerous. Do we wear a helmet? Don't we wear a helmet? So those are the questions. When there is no law, it's hard to say. But for personal use, like if you live in a gated community, for example, there's security guards, or you're in a work environment in a factory, this is perfectly legal, normal. It's your own safety. Again, it's personal mobility. And I think what happened also is because, let's say, if you flood the market with cheap products, we're still talking about personal safety. And I think that's very important. And people will say, it's cheap, expensive. Like, would you really bargain 500 ringgit for something that would risk your life?
No,
I don't think so. And I think that's why the products are not matured yet for them to come and, become a mass market product, because people don't feel the safety provided by the roads, the government, and also the insurance agencies. It's just the system is not there for you to feel that this is a viable solution, as part of a mass transportation complement.
So bringing it into the country, it has to go through safety tests. It needs to meet certain standards. Has all that been done?
Yes, definitely. One of the things that we've done, we've actually this product is being sold in Germany, and it's gone so well that we even received an IF Design Award for 2014. So basically, it's recognized as a product that meets all the criteria, the CE certifications and whatnot. Also, American market certifications. So they're definitely very strict. So this is basically, I wouldn't say military grade, but it kind of looks like it.
Yeah, it looks very military grade. But I know we're going to look at it shortly. But for something like this being sold in Malaysia, there are various demographics, various segments that you need to look at this present moment. Who are you targeting? Individuals or companies?
It's very hard to say because when we started, we had an idea. We had a clear belief, as a director or a creative director. I'm trying to envision who is this for, because first and foremost, we're not bringing this to make money. I mean, every business makes money, but we're trying to see something, the part of the future, become a solution instead of solving old problems. So we're working together with governments to see and identify what is the easiest way to get people to try electric mobility. Because in the end, the transition period is long, and you need to start somewhere. And who are the first people to actually try out electric mobility? That's why you have electric car sharing. You have Eco Ride, which is also a program that is being launched by Comos, where you can rent small little buggies, basically, the Renault Twizzys, and go for sightseeing tours. So you try it out, you feel, wow, this is incredible. And most people don't realize electric vehicles are really torquey. Torquey in the sense torquey in the sense it's very fast acceleration. There's no gearboxes, so you get full throttle, 100% of power directly as soon as you press. So it outruns many of the fast accelerating vehicles such as Ferraris or whatnot.
But do you running at 37? Its top speed is 37 kilometers per hour. Do we need something like this to be running that fast?
Well, let's go back to the previous question. Who is it for? We've had kids who are 4 years old, 5 years old, if they can hold up the handle, or just, because you can lower this, you'll see in a minute, up to people who are, retirement age, basically. And anyone who has some sort of balance. I've only seen a few people who can't stand on it. Rare. Out of 3,000, I've seen one. And that was due, maybe they can't ride a bicycle. So, anyone who can ride a bicycle can use this.
So you should be able to ride a bicycle.
And you can ride two on them too. So, for example, we've seen a lot of times where the parent with their kids, they don't want to, they go to the park, they don't feel like they want to cycle. The rest of the family are really sporty and you feel like, it's not for me. But you don't want to miss out. So you go with them. For example, we thought it's going to be for university students, and we're actually developing a program for universities. We're talking to University of Malaysia, UTM, and other universities to introduce this on a campus area, because campuses are huge, and going from one place to the other, you can't always ride a motorcycle. So this will be perfect. And one of the main differences between this and a motorcycle is that this is portable. You bring it with you into the classroom. You see the bag here, you just tuck it in, it has wheels, and you drag it along. So it's personal in the sense that it's something that you carry, just much like your hand phone. And hand phones were big, and this one is still, I can lift it up very easily with one hand. So campuses would be probably our test area to see how people receive it. In terms of budgets, students are not always able to afford it. So we're providing some kind of financial backing or solutions for them to actually try it on. Also, what we see is for the corporate use, like if you look at factories or places that require big areas to be covered, this is probably a very good idea for them to get something like this. At events or Sepang circuits where people need to travel very far, people always ask us, can we rent these? So we're actually going to try to see this at Lima, the International Defense.
So it's going to be at Lima. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break, and when we come back right after the break, we'll take a look at this. And a lot of people today want to stand out. They want to stand out from the rest. They want to customize their stuff. That apparently can be done too. We're going to be talking about that when we come back right here on Bernama Today. Stay with us.
Apa kabar pemirsa? Salam dari Jakarta. Sebuah program kerjasama Kantor Berita Indonesia Antara dengan Kantor Berita Malaysia bernama kembali hadir menjumpai Anda.
My precious little Nita, why did you leave me? How hard I try, my pain does not go away.
Papa! Papa!
My child has become a victim because of me.
Nita!
Pakcik, boleh saya tolong?
We cannot change the past, but we can protect our future if we act now.
Current issues, latest headlines, illuminating visuals. Everything right and now on Bernama News.
Girang gemilang atau penuh kecundang, paparan kegairahan, laporan sukan tanpa sempadan, wadah bertenaga dan terkini. Sukan at Bernama TV.
Halo, apa kabar pemirsa? Salam dari Jakarta. Sebuah program kerjasama Kantor Berita Indonesia Antara dengan Kantor Berita Malaysia Bernama kembali hadir menjumpai Anda.
Good morning, Malaysia, and welcome back to Bernama Today. As promised, we're going to show you what the Pat Gear looks like. Joining me in the studio is the creative director of Pat Gear, Kirill Kobet. He's joined us to talk to us a little bit about this contraption I have in front of me. Very interesting thing. So this is called a Pat Gear.
Yes. Pat Gear, the name comes from patrol gear. Basically, if you patrol the streets, but it's just a brand name, basically. I think it is for everyone. Anyone who rides a bike can ride it.
Right.
Gated communities, shopping malls, anywhere, perfectly fine.
Right. So this is made of, it's a full alloy frame.
Yes, aluminium frame. As you see, very sturdy body. And all this block in the bottom here, this is the lithium phosphate battery.
Right.
Is basically equivalent to...
This is the battery. This whole thing is the battery.
So it's like, power banks. Everyone has a power bank these days. Take the biggest one you can find, put in about 8 or 10 of them.
Right.
That's what's inside. It's weatherproof, meaning to say, if it rains, don't worry about it. I mean, don't drain it, don't go swimming with it, but it works. So it is, after all, an electric.
Right. Saying if you can ride a bicycle, or for those of us who've tried kick bikes or back in the day, it's basically the same.
Yes, it won't start unless you actually give it a kick. So you need to just lightly start it, and also help the engine to sort of go with the resistance.
So you need to give it a bit of a push. And
because otherwise you press and it flies. Again, it flies off when you start it. So it's very simple. No gears. You just press the either accelerator or the brake. That's it.
So this whole thing fits into this bag.
Yes, we do have a bag which doesn't come with it, but this is an accessory, and we do actually carry a lot of accessories as well. So fit it in, and it has wheels as well.
Right.
So you just kind of drag it along. It's like a golf bag, basically. This whole thing weighs about 15 kg.
Right.
If for those of you with big biceps, it's not a thing at all to lift.
I mean, if you're not going to put the Pat Gear in the bag, you can use it to carry about 200 badminton rackets.
Yes, true. But the whole idea of this is to keep this in your car, for example. People say, where can I carry this around? Well, no, just keep it as an alternative. I mean, bicycles are hard to get into a car.
Right.
Skateboards aren't. But then again, skateboards are a bit dangerous. I have a penny board myself. I don't ride it because for the balancing issues. This is great. If you want to go somewhere and you don't feel like, taking the last mile, keep it in your bag and in your car.
These things come in various models. So this model, the one that we have here, has a sort of an absorber, and this is used for tarmac, right?
Correct.
The various models. What other models are there?
Right now, this is the model called the E5.
Yeah.
So the fifth generation of the Pat Gear, basically. And the difference between this and the old one, which was the E3, which we still carry in stock, is the rear absorber. So basically, the fact is that the motor is actually here in the back portion of the wheel. So the wheel itself is part of the motor. So to protect it from impact, you put on shock absorbers. So Malaysian roads, they are getting better. I do feel the government is doing a good job at improving our
it'll get better.
Especially places like Penang, where people do actually ride around the island and everything. You can feel the difference when the new roads, there's less resistance to it. So the old model did not have the absorber, and it was a little bit more shaky. So in a perfectly fine environment, you don't notice it, but here it is more adapt. In the future, somewhere along the roads, we're going to have a kind of an off-road version as well.
Right. The off-road version will have monster tires, I'm sure.
Yeah, we just delivered one to the Sultan of Johor, actually. He's the first person in the world to receive it.
Right.
So there's a prototype that we've been working on.
That's an off-road one.
Well, kind of. It's big tires, kind of looks like a motorcycle already. But that's coming somewhere. So this one is the model that kind of fits everywhere now. I mean, it goes pretty much on every surface where you can ride a bicycle.
Okay, how long does it take to charge the battery?
Yeah, and the charger basically is just like your laptop battery. It's as you can see, this is
a charger on steroids.
Yes, it's a bit, you know, your old Dells or I'm not going to name any names, but basically it just has a, you know, a connector and plug it in, 2.5 hours and it's done.
Right.
Of course.
2.5 hours for a full charge.
If it's completely exhausted when you start to charge it. So basically on one charge you can go up to about 20 kilometers on a single charge. 20 kilometers, quite a while. In KL Car Free Morning, the path is about 7 kilometers for one circle.
Right.
So we ride them about three laps.
Here's the thing, you're riding this, a full charge would take you a good 20 kilometers, but here's the question, is there an indicator to show you how much battery there's left or how much juice you have left?
Yes, on top of there where you accelerate, there's actually an indicator that tells you that you're fully charged, just like you're...
Right, do you think we can tip this over a little bit? Yep.
Sure.
Okay, let's try to tip this
over. So as you can see, this is very easy to fold. It just takes about 5 seconds and basically this is all there is to it. So this is the mechanism. As you can see, I'm lifting up perfectly with one hand.
Right.
Not put in your pocket, and there's also kickstand. You can't see it from this side, but if I flip it over,
we flip it over, you can see the kickstand.
You can see the kickstand here, and yeah, basically, what you see here, that's the indicator. So just carry this baby in my arms, and then you turn it on, hold it in. You see that there's a odometer, so basically tells you how long you traveled and all the information that you want to see. So we've used them, 300, 400, 500 kilometers, and they just need servicing. Tighten the bolts and everything, which can be done with a normal island key. Basically low maintenance. Indicators are there to tell you what goes on. Batteries are replaceable if you come and seek us out in case something happens to it. But batteries last about 800 cycles and they only lose 10% after 800 cycles. So it just goes on forever.
They only lose 10% and this is after
800 charges.
800 charges, okay.
Yeah, each charge is going to cost you about 20 cents. So in terms of 100 kilometers, would you go somewhere for 100 kilometers, it will only cost you 1 ringgit.
1 ringgit.
So in terms of investment, I think this is the future.
Okay, so once you purchase something like this, now you have a battery that will in time start to deplete and it won't be as strong as it used to be. What happens that can you just change the battery?
Yeah, in terms of strong as it used to be, this is one of our advantages. The difference between this and any other product in the world, I would say. Might maybe sound confident when I say it, but actually it's true. This is a lithium phosphate battery, which is different from the ones that you use in your cell phone. So over time, after hundreds of cycles, they only lose about 3%.
Right.
Whereby normal batteries lose about 4 to 5, and the normal AA batteries will lose about 20 to 30%. So this one lasts forever. The only way you can actually spoil it if it gets flooded. In Malaysia, it rains a lot, so I'd say and even your car can get flooded. I've flooded my motorcycle actually. So nothing is weatherproof, especially when it comes to Malaysia. But I would say if you should have any problems with it, there's all the parts here are replaceable.
So with something like this, now if you were to use it on a factory floor, right. So for safety reasons, sometimes people say that factory floors are really slippery. So how do you deal with issues like this if you're going to introduce this to a factory?
Well, basically what we do is we actually we rigorously test everything in the environment that we want to provide it for. So in our storeroom, we do have an epoxy floor that is really slippery, and so far no problem whatsoever. These are rubber wheels where the grip is perfect. It's really tremendous, and I haven't seen it skid even once. Only thing that may happen, personal injuries, is if you get overconfident. That happens with everything. So you still need to be aware. This is a personal mobility vehicle, means that you're moving. And if you do move and you fall off, only stuff like Aikido and parkour is going to save you in terms of breaking your falls. But then again, you're on the tarmac. There's other vehicles there. So I think you need to be very conscious of the fact that this is something that is not a toy. It's not a toy. We came to the stage where this is now seen and recognized as a true alternative for urban mobility.
Right. So when you talk about urban mobility, us in Kuala Lumpur, people in JB, people up north in Penang, all the big cities in Malaysia, to use this on the roads, has this already been approved to be used on roads, on streets?
Again, it has been and it hasn't been, in the sense that there's no decree, there's no classification of this vehicle yet. We have had talks with certain individuals.
But this can be considered, of course it has a motor, but it is no different from a bicycle. I mean,
exactly. That's exactly how it's being treated as now. Meaning to say, anywhere you can take the bicycle, you should be able to take this. So then again, personal safety is your responsibility. And so far, when we drive by police, they just wonder where to buy one, basically, because they want one too. And we are talking to Bukit Aman to actually introduce this into the police force, because this would be a great alternative for them to just cruise around instead of walking. Or it's actually fast. I mean, 37 kilometers, you can not run after someone who snatched the bag, but you can, pretty much outrun them with this thing. And so they have, in terms of legality, there's no big issue yet. We're working on to getting it in black and white to get the full approval, so that insurances and stuff like that can be issued. For now, I think it's still, Malaysia is still a good country whereby it's not there and it's not here, so it's somewhere in between. But places like Singapore, where they're a bit more strict, it will be enforced. So for now, perfectly fine.
With introducing something like this to the country, we've got a couple of photos coming out. What kind of rounds are you taking it on when it comes to promoting this? Are you having like a sort of a full-on ride with 50 people going for a small convoy of some sort? And are you coming up with ideas like this at this point?
Well, and not to say, to be honest, but because I've been honest the whole interview, but we don't want to mass market this. And we are also a little bit skeptical of this being a mass market product, in the sense that it will take time. So we need the early adopters to kind of guide us on the fact that, teach us something about this product as well, how people use it. Where every time where we have the Kale Car-Free Mornings, where we have about 20 owners of this meeting up, and we just ride along, they'll tell us about their problems, how it works and everything. So we learn, we understand.
That's a cop using trying it out.
Yeah, that's one of the procurement people, I guess. So they're everyone who's tried it really enjoys it. They're blown away by the fact that it's really fast and it's really practical and easy to use. And there you see.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that our beloved Prime Minister?
Yeah, and a big smile on his face. Even the PM gladly enjoyed this. He was quite fascinated by this. This is the launch of the Razak building in UTM, so he was there to officiate it, and he was at our booth for quite a while. We were there together with Komos, and that's Harith Iskandar there. He's was also quite keen. He was slippery, like you say, on that day, and this is the curve, and I was just praying to for him not to fall off, but it's perfectly safe. So you can see the kids or your machi or the uncle, anyone can ride it.
Right. So let's going back to what you're saying. It's not being mass produced. It's not being mass marketed in Malaysia. That's because you had. What's the reason behind that?
The reason is that we feel like we want to take a natural and organic growth with this product, and in the sense that now we feel like we're ready, and we want to give it a slow start, so that we learn about Malaysian market, so we can properly introduce this into the segments that we want it to be in. Because again, 100 people use it and there's a few accidents or whatnot, you get a bad name or whatnot because you didn't understand your own product perfectly. So we want to be able to.
So with the amount of people using it now, you can keep tabs on these people using it, monitor them, work if there are any problems that need to be sorted out, because bringing it to different countries, different environments to deal with, different weather conditions, so you'll be working out these things first.
Correct. So we're starting in Malaysia, and we'll be moving on to Indonesia and Thailand in the near future as well. So it is exciting, but it's also it comes with responsibility as well, because again this is a tip of the iceberg, basically. If you look at it, this is personal mobility, and this in the form of a kick bike, which is easy to lift up. But the future is going to be powered by electric cells. You have Tesla manufacturing cars. Just a few days ago, Apple came out and said they're building a car. Within 5 years, they're going to have an Apple car, your iPhone and iCar, the real one. So this is definitely the way to go. So we're part of something that will come. It's not here yet, but this is the way to test it, and it's actually very affordable. I don't know if I'm supposed to say the price.
Please, how much does it retail?
Retails for about $1,000 which is 3,500 ringgit, equivalent to a motorcycle. But again, you can store it in your car.
I know, being Malaysians, we want things good and cheap. So do you get questions about so expensive
and sometimes so cheap? It depends who you ask. I think one market that we thought we would capture, and we kind of did, I think, we went to the motorcyclists, for example. And if you can afford a Harley Davidson or an Aprilia bike or Ducati for 100,000, and you go 3,500, that's nothing. That's what their exhaust costs, or a fancy light. For a normal family, again, I think this might be an expensive way to to enjoy yourself. But
sometimes you have a family, then they're like mom, dad, and 4 kids, and you buy one, and all the kids will want to play it at the same time. You have families that come out and say, look, I need 3 of these.
4. We've actually, the last event we sold 4. Then he bought 2. The kids started fighting, and they came back and bought 2 more. So we're providing 0% interest payments and everything to make it affordable. And again, I mean, the investment over time, you don't use any petrol. It's very, very cheap to charge. So I think it's very accessible. I mean, if you look at the Segways, they were retailing at 20s or thousands, and even the China copies now, they're in their 15,000s. So if you look compared to the Airwheel, I think it's a great product. I would probably buy one myself. I'm for everything that has to do with green mobility. We're not saying we're better than anyone.
Are we moving forward, healthily when it comes to green mobility? Are the moves we're making towards the destination we want to arrive, say at 2020, is it healthy enough at this point?
Probably not fast enough. If you look at other countries, they're a bit more proactive. So that's why I feel like if you're willing to try it out, you don't have to buy one or whatnot. Just go into our website. It's www.padgear.my. So just what the name is, Padgear.
Maybe not www, but www.
Padgear.my. Request will in the Klang Valley. We actually come to your house and let you test it. Kale Car-Free Mornings, we're around, and we have a showroom which is under renovation. We'll be launched very soon at One City, USJ.
Well, they say that you can trick this out. How do you trick something like this out?
Okay, those of you who skateboard, I'm not sure how many of the viewers this early, all the skateboarders probably asleep still. They will just put this kind of grip, like the kind of like sandpaper-ish, which you can color and customize. So this
what do they call it? Grip
tape.
Tape, yeah.
So you put it onto the base, and you can just make any color whatsoever. We also work together with Tom Stickers, one of the probably the largest sticker manufacturer in all of Malaysia. They can put stickers on top of it, any kind of shape, or also you can color it. What we did for the Sultan is, of course, this royal blue Johor color, very, very nice. And we've had renditions in Germany. We worked together with Audi and Volkswagen to produce special editions. So like any car dealers that want to do promotions, buy a car, get something free. We've put logos, and so that for corporate this is pretty perfect. Exhibitions, they'll definitely make sure to have something written on their own, any color that you like. Goes for the wheels as well.
Right. So if you purchase the Pad Gear, does it come with a warranty of some sort?
Yes, the battery has a warranty of minimum 800 cycles, but again, it extends to that in the sense that for now what we're doing is we're doing a little bit unconventionally. We have personal contact with every buyer, and if they tell us about their problems, we're happy to help them. And for now, it's been completely free of charge. Usually, it will be covered by a 1-year warranty on the parts, not the wheels, because we don't know what to do with it. I mean, we have our own staff that jump curbs and fly in and out of the streets, and we just got to tame them somehow. So basically, the rest of the stuff, when we open it up and we see it's been properly managed, then it's a factory fault. We're happy to replace.
Right. So if you need to buy or purchase spare parts, that will be done by the company.
Yes, correct. And spare parts and accessories. If you can see, this belt helps us a lot, because if you're riding in traffic,
if you're like me, and if you ride at night on something like this, you're just not viewable. So you need something a little bright,
reflective and bright. So if I'm not sure you can see in the studio. It just opens up and then it just latches around your back.
Oh, it latches around your back. It doesn't go across.
If you want to, you can do this this kind of style. We put it on the Pad Gear sometimes as well, so it blinks and shines. We're going to launch the Pad Gear accessories brand as well. So basically, we're part of smart mobility, which involves not only the vehicle itself, but also solutions such as like for example, we'll have a mobile app that can monitor the speed of this, how long. So basically, turn your odometer into a phone app, and then have functional clothing, wearables. So we're
saying for the sake of an argument, if I've never ridden a bicycle before and I want to attempt riding this, will it take a while for me to learn how to use this?
Yeah, about 3 seconds.
About 3 seconds. That's all you need. Is about 3 seconds.
Yeah, it is surprisingly easy. I think most people, the only problem they have is how to pressed accelerator, because it is sensitive in the sense that when you know, like with any new car or anything, you just don't know how much to press.
Right.
So, but after a while, when you get the hang of it, because again, first time they use it, whoa, so fast, it just kind of flies underneath you. So get used to the throttle, and you'll be perfectly fine.
Right. So it takes some getting used to the throttle. Other than that, for my kids using it as for extreme sports, have you seen them do some funky things with it?
Yes, and at your own risk.
At your own risk. You've seen them do some amazing things with stuff like that.
Well, we try it out ourselves.
Yeah,
we have our pad gear crew. I've kind of told them specifically. If you saw the pictures earlier, you've seen some of the kids on top of it. We tell them, try it out. This is new. This is something that we're kind of pioneering the sphere.
Right.
So we have to try and see how far we can push things and how creative we can be as well. So that's part of the creative development.
Because the reason I asked this is because if you're going to promote it to the general public, you want to show them how sturdy it is and how much of a beating it can take in it. So
yeah, that's what we plan to actually show it in extreme conditions. I mean, and I think we've pushed it to the limit where we kind of know our product as well. So that takes time to understand. So far, anything that's happened to it, we can fix. Either straight on or with spare parts. So it's taken severe beatings, and we're talking like using this as a extreme BMX kind of style, and it still survives hundreds of kilometers. So not a big issue. The build is really solid. It's probably one of the sturdiest things you can buy, and people will say like expensive. That's the reason you have an iPhone Plus, which cost about the equivalent of this thing, and a cheap phone which you can buy for 100 ringgit, because they're plasticky. This one is not. This is sturdy. This is solid and heavy build.
Right. With that, your take-home message to the country with regards to pad gear, and what plans you have with regards to bringing this company forward. Maybe something you want to share with us before we let you go.
Well, our slogan for the company is actually personal mobility in style. So what we're saying is also, if you're going to ride something, Marty McFly-ish from the future, just make sure you look good doing it. And I think that's what this product kind of does. And everyone who buys it will get a t-shirt, so you just look as smart and,
You've got a cool
nice
t-shirt. And the bag comes with it too, isn't it?
The bag doesn't come with it, but it's fairly cheap. And then you get this cap, make you look young again. So a lot of corporate.
If you're going through a midlife crisis,
a lot of corporates.
The way to go.
Our biggest market now is people in about our age that feel bored with their executive life, and they just want to
do something different. Yeah.
Try it out. I think this is the first step you can take towards a brighter future, a greener future, a more environmentally safe future, and also something that's going to help the problem in terms of congestion and emissions.
Right.
So this is probably your first take on electric mobility, and I'm happy to help anyone who's willing to,
Right. All you need to do is log on to
www.padgear.my,
and you'll get all the information you need about this awesome contraption now being sold in Malaysia. You have a great day ahead. We'll be back with more for you tomorrow, right here on Wednesday's edition of Bernama Today. Jared Ratnam signing off. Thank you very much, Kirill.
Thanks, Jared.